Hi everybody, my name is Rami and I'm from Indigo Soulwork, and I'm going to be talking with you today in this video about early life trauma. And I'm going to help you to heal some aspects of it. So I'll give you a little bit of an overview of some of the issues, which are really quite complex. And then I'll help you to transform some aspects of it. So first of all, early life trauma, what is that? The way the research literature defines that is it includes a whole bunch of different things. So a lot of people, as you know, have talked about and done work with adult children of alcoholics, ACOA. And so people whose parents have been, either parent has been alcoholic, had substance abuse, these children have grown up with a particular set of difficulties. So research has been broadened over the years to include people whose parents have had other kinds of difficulties. So there's issues relating to divorce, a parent in jail, a parent who had mental health difficulties, and so on. So as well as a child who was sexually abused, not necessarily in the family, a child who was physically abused, neglected, as well as bullied in school, for example. So in this series of tapes, I'm going to be talking with you about a variety of issues relating to this. I've experienced quite a lot of it myself, and I'm going to show you some ways of helping to transform that, but first I'll explain it. What psychologists have done to find out more fully, more deeply how this works, what they did is they put a dog in a cage, and so the dog couldn't escape, and there was a grid under their feet, and they put some electricity there, so mild electrocution of the dog. The dog ran around frenetic, couldn't escape. So they stopped, and then they did it again a number of times, and the dog freaked out and ran around. After a while, the dog just lay there and gave up. So then what they did is they opened a gate so that the dog could escape, and there was some place he could have gone where there was no electricity, and they put the electricity on. The dog didn't move. The dog had given up. There's no point in trying to do anything. Why bother? That's learned helplessness. They put another dog in, new dog, and in the same cage. They left the gate open to the other cell, and the gate ran around frenetic and went to this place, and relief. And so the dog went and stayed there. So next time there was a shock, the dog ran there immediately because he'd learned, I can escape this. So the dog with learned helplessness is the one who just gives up. Why bother? So, and it's the same thing with us as humans, where we have just given up. So it's more complex than that for human beings, because we're complex creatures. We have many layers. So one of the pieces is that we can try to improve, watch all kinds of videos, read all kinds of books, go to seminars, but there's a layer in us that says it's pointless. So we have total despair. Either God can't be trusted, or I'm unworthy, or there might be curses against you, or against your plan, and so on. So I'm going to help you to clear some of these. I'll talk through a few of them and help you to clear some of them. So, so let's clear curses first. So a curse, there's two kinds of curses, but the curse that I want to focus on now is the one that's like voodoo, for example, where somebody zapped you intentionally to try to stop you. So they might have done that to you, or they did it to your clan some generations ago, or one generation ago, as the case may be. And once you know how to clear these issues, it's incredibly easy, but when you don't know, you're toast. Your life is just stuck and you can't do anything. So a story that I give in my workshops is that I was working with a First Nations client who was in a car accident, and his girlfriend died. And So what ended up happening is that he went to see a lawyer, and the lawyer said, go see a therapist and go to a substance abuse treatment center, but don't say anything. So he came to me, he said hi, and he just sat there. So it turned out that he was completely drunk when he was in the accident. He was driving and he missed a curve in the road and he crashed into a cliff. Girlfriend died. So totally responsible for it, and he wanted to avoid responsibility, of course, and lawyers specialize in that, trying to help people to do that. So he came and sat with me and didn't want to say anything, and so then he asked me if I would fill out some forms so he could go into a substance abuse treatment center. I said, that's not something that I do. I'm not a form filler outer. So, and he pushed, and I said, oh, okay, to try to get into his good book, so then hopefully he'd open up. I didn't want him to get totally off the hook, so I put in there that there was a legal issue, and he was so upset with me that he went to his family after the session, and I found out later he and his clan cursed me. So they were playing the drums and so on, and chanting and to put a curse against me. And so my life totally stopped. I had no idea what was going on. I had a number of clients the next day, and I had checks coming in from various places, and everything totally stopped for months until I figured out what was going on. So I had some friends who were psychics, and they were able to see what had happened. And 3 of them who didn't know each other told me, you've been cursed by First Nations. And so no clue what to do, no clue whatsoever. I tried all kinds of things. And my situation was hopeless. I had total despair. So that learned helplessness, that's an example of short-term learned helplessness, that no matter what I did, it was pointless. And that triggered in me some things from childhood where I'd been quite neglected and abused and so forth. And so, you know, you give up on life. You keep trying frenetically, but after a while it just crumble. So for those of you who carry ritualized curses, I ask for the high beings to transform them, high beings who specialize in curses. So if you were, for example, cursed by First Nations, I had to learn over time. I tried all kinds of things. Spirit brought me the lessons. I was given a feather, an eagle feather with a bear claw tied to it one time, and then another time I was given a stone. They come from different places, and I got the message, okay, I need to use energies from First Nations to help transform curses from First Nations. So you do the same. You might not know that you've been cursed from this life or other lifetimes, but if you know, use the energy that it comes from. So for me, it was North American First Nations. For you, it might be African. For you, it might be some Italian Baba that has some methods for creating curses or whatever. So do that now. We ask the high beings who specialize in clearing curses to transform them for you. One of the pieces also is that you just see how you feel now. One of the pieces in terms of learned helplessness is that some of us have gone through massive difficulties in other lifetimes. And so we've been enslaved, and all of us have gone through all kinds of difficulties in other lifetimes. So I'd like you to imagine that you have chains around you still, enslaved. So let's ask for the chains to be cleared from around your wrists, around your ankles, around your throat, and so on. At the soul level, and also ancestral trauma. So we'll clear that at the cellular level and DNA. At the soul level, you clear that. You ask the Lords of Karma and Archangel Michael to clear at the soul level and the Akashic Records. See, what happens with learned helplessness is you've learned to just give up. So you can be trying and trying, so you're pushing a boulder up the hill, but there's still a part of you, you might not be conscious of it whatsoever, that says, forget it, bucko, there's no point. So when glitches happen, you say, oh my God, I feel like giving up, what's the point? Yeah? And so many people have been there. So many of us advanced souls who chose to be born in really difficult places have experienced that over many lifetimes. So when we go to tough places, these are some examples of things that are triggered. And so there's a number of more things, so I'll talk about them in other videos and in our training program. But I just wanted to give you a flavor of this for now. So when you feel that you're blocked, I recommend to you that you ask for particular high beings that fit for you. For example, if you're Christian, you could think of Christ. If you're Buddhist, you think of Buddha. If you're Hindu, you could think of Krishna, for example, or Shiva, and ask them for their help. But also, we found that Lords of Karma and Archangel Michael are incredibly powerful to help transform curses. But we need to be really precise. We need to see exactly what the cause is, and when we do, use the right energy to transform the blockage at exactly the right place, and psh, it's gone. Otherwise, we can struggle against it forever, as I did, right? So I worked at transforming stuff for myself for a few decades, and I was basically going nowhere, absolutely nowhere, trying all kinds of different things. And I know that many of you can relate to that. So there's a variety of other issues for people who've gone through major difficulties in their lives, who've been traumatized in childhood for one reason or another. And I'm going to be focusing on that with you in a series of videotapes and trainings and so forth. So for now, just be aware that you could choose to buy a copy of my book online. It costs almost nothing. So go to Amazon.com to get a copy, or go to my website, www.indigosoulwork.com, and the book is Profound Healing for Indigos and Other Advanced Souls. And so it costs $12 or something online, so it's really peanuts, and there's a variety of techniques and examples to transform particular things. So also I'm available to provide sessions, my partner and myself, Jill Miller and I, so you can choose to see us together or separately. On my website, you go to the video and audio section, and you'll find some free audios and videos there. So you can choose to experiment with the methods, and also we'll be providing workshops online and so on.